they don't really like me. Cause I can fuck your bitch and fuck your mom and auntie.
Made about Funimation, the once anime dubbing juggernaut that went completely south. From its own channel to home video to owning most of the Japanese anime catalog, Funimation went from one big monopoly too big to fail, only to be shut down by Crunchyroll. Now, how did this all happen? Also, what is
dog the downfall of Funimation
on Funimation?
That's crazy. I thought I would never see a video like this. The downfall of Funimation? Wow.
Funimation started out from a man with a fascination with anime. Gen Fukunaga, the main founder, would travel from Japan and live here in the States in Boca Raton, Florida. Yeah, the Tyrant King city. While pursuing degrees in electrical engineering and business, he would take a love for animation as it was a growing entertainment medium in Japan. While working for IBM on R&D budgets, Gen would go to his grandfather, Nagafumi Hori, who was the producer for Toei Animation. He would argue that the Western countries could benefit from understanding Japanese culture through the form of an entertainment medium like anime. During 1994, Nagafumi would then set up meetings with Toei Animation and pitch that US syndication would benefit from Japanese entertainment and distribution. Toei at the time had multiple catalogs that were successful. While this was going on, Gen needed a business partner. Gen would go to a friend at IBM, Daniel Kokenaga, an entrepreneur and investment savvy man. The pitch to Daniel at the time was to make a company that can release Japanese animation to all of America. At that time, Daniel wasn't interested. However, considering the pitches and plans lined up with his grandfather, Daniel's tune drastically changes. He then sells his family's feed mill in Decatur, Texas. It's in nowhere, Texas, trust me. The other thing to worry about was what the name of the company would be. Gen would have a problem. The names he would come up with were already taken by copyright patent. Plus, as he would put it, he didn't want to take himself too seriously as a company. By 1994, Gen would found the company as Funimation Productions, emphasis on the word fun.
I knew this as together.
At the time of conception, Dragon Ball was already a success in Japan by Toei Animation. The show would garner $30
I love the fucking
million
original OG Dragon Ball.
Gen believed that moving while the iron was hot was important at the time to make it a huge success. In 1989 to 1990, Harmony Gold USA was the first to release the dub in English for the States. Harmony Gold would also be responsible for not only changing scripts, but almost changing Goku's name to Zero. A movie which was 3 episodes and 2 movies compiled into one big motion picture was canceled due to American audiences rejecting it without hesitation in a test simulation. However, the show was doing good ratings even on Hawaii station Nippon Golden Network, which aired 6 a.m. on Tuesdays from 1992 to 94. Funimation by 1995 would acquire the Dragon Ball series as their first asset. As Gen would call it, the Japanese Mickey Mouse. Now, in my opinion, I would call it an alpha male cartoon soap opera. You know, like Young and the Restless, but with fist and power-ups. Not that I would know anything about the Young and the Restless.
Yo, Young and Restless is long as One Piece for real.
By Ocean Productions and Josanne B. Lovick Productions to do voicing and scripts by commission. After 13 episodes, Dragon Ball was dropped by the fall of '95 for Dragon Ball Z. After the failure of Dragon Ball, many companies bowed out of Dragon Ball the Classic for the edgier sequel Dragon Ball Z. Adapted from the 325-chapter manga series, Funimation would move ahead with licensing in 1996. However, Dragon Ball Z would have various channels it was broadcasted on in the States already. The scale it was on was minuscule, airing on various channels in the country and on different time slots when kids weren't tuning in at all. Funimation would again commission Ocean Productions. In addition, Ocean would partner with Saban Entertainment as co-production and Pioneer Entertainment for home video distribution. The theme song, Rock the Dragon, was then commissioned and sung by Saban artist Jeremy Sweet. I make mistakes as a content creator, and I made this video not too long ago, if you remember it. It was the second greatest video on my channel. So I made an error regarding Ron Wasserman. Checking my sources over and over and over again, Ron denies any involvement with Rock the Dragon. Now, I have taken this into consideration, but there was some information that was leaked and saying that certain instrumentals and certain parts of his instrumentals were then used in Dragon Ball Z in certain episodes. Very confusing. I understand that. Dragon Ball Z would be cut down in length to get greenlit for airtime while being heavily edited for advertisers and to make it kid-friendly. For example, death scenes were replaced with sent to the next dimension.
Dragon and wish Goku back to their dimension.
That's all like Dragon Ball Z Kai.
We'll be leaving this dimension soon, Popo.
You'll be waiting at a bus stop somewhere in the next dimension. I want them all in the next dimension.
September 13th, 1996 was when the show debuted and ratings would go through the roof. Albeit FCC and watchdog groups have raised many red flags to the show. Ultimately, it was Saban who in 1998 scaled down.
Personally, I think Dragon Ball Z Kai is the best way to watch Dragon Ball Z.
Shows for Fox Kids and Fox Family Networks. Also, he was afraid of all the backlash on a show he didn't care about. Then why even carry the show?
Money!
By August 31st of 1998, Dragon Ball Z then went on to Cartoon Network's Toonami block. After the show's cancellation for a few months, Funimation would take full control of the dub and most episodes would be uncut during the Tom era.
Hold up.
Now, did you guys know in 1999, Funimation Productions partnered with Chuck E. Cheese to make this VHS video called Chucky in the Galaxy 5000? It was released on October 5th, 1999. And if you don't remember it, well, it was this whole VHS you would get at your birthday party from Chuck E. Cheese as like a complimentary gift or something. And then it got released in Toys R Us months later. Now, if you guys don't remember it, maybe just look at this real quick.
Oh, we could all get jobs. You know, I saw a help wanted sign down at the Chicken Palace.
I don't think so.
Galaxies for you. Oh, the galaxies for me. The galaxies for you and me.
How would you like to roost at our pod?
Yeah, we have maximum celebrity status, coupled with ultimate physical strength. Yeah.
Oh, please. You buffed out buffoons can go jump in the lake for all I care.
What the fuck?
Fun fact, you can actually watch this on Crunchyroll.
What the
It's
hell?
considered anime. I'm just saying. You didn't know that, right?
Good teaching methods include the use of pictures, chalkboard, models, and charts, usually before the learners turn to the pages of books for information.
After the blow-up of the Dragon Ball series from the late 90s to the 2000s, Funimation would acquire more IPs such as Yu Yu Hakusho, Cowboy Bebop, Case Closed, Shin-Chan, just to name a few. Funimation
Yo, that's all bangers right there.
Collaborate in 2005 to launch the Funimation channel. It would be considered by Funimation the first 24-hour anime network without the use of American blocks by Toonami, Kids WB, or Adult Swim. Albeit Anime Network by AD Vision beat them by 3 years prior. Shows back in the heydays of the Funimation channel range from Negima, Revolutionary Girl Utna, Haringu, His and Her Circumstances, Koducha, Beck Mongolian Chop Squad, Goated, Tekchimiyo GXP, and some other IPs that were claimed under Funimation. The problem was too many reruns. Since most animes were only 26 episodes and got switched out whenever viewers got tired of watching it, the Funimation channel would leave a distaste in viewers wanting more from the channel. It didn't help that even retro anime was played ad nauseum. It got so bad, many cable carriers would discontinue it, all the while aiming to change up lineups on the block to more modern titles such as Moon Phase, School Rumble, Soul Eater, and Oran High School Host Club. Still receiving low ratings, it would ultimately shut down. On December 31st of 2015, Olympusat would drop out of the venture and move on to launch Toku, which would then replace the Funimation channel. It's no secret that both Funimation and ADV have been rivals since the 90s, albeit that didn't stop them from doing business together in the past. Years later, Funimation would get into a lawsuit as ADV was sinking in debt. According to various court documents, Funimation would file a subpoena in November of 2011. The reason was that ADV and ARMS were holders of various IPs, as ADV was piling debt back in 2007. In exchange for holding and distributing certain IPs, ADV would relieve its debt to ARMS. However, they would would default on profits and payments and drop ARMS altogether. In secret, Funimation and ARMS would get into an agreement to acquire ARMS IPs. ADV would sue in April 16th of 2008, claiming that ARMS would breach its contract. ADV also filed a restraining order to stop Funimation from further lawsuits and claims on IPs, all of which would cost ARMS and ADV $7.3 million and making ARMS sell IPs over to relieve the default debt. This would go on for years as all ADV subsidiaries would not only be in debt but held to the ground by Funimation, only for Funimation to get in trouble with 4Kids but becoming a home video distributor for the IP Yu-Gi-Oh! While also withholding financial information to international companies.
Wow.
Both parties settled out of the lawsuits years later. ADV still owes $8 million to the creditors.
It seemed like
claims from Harris County, Texas were
it seemed like anybody in the 90s or early 2000s, it seemed like if anybody had any anime licensing, they was going through some type of fucking lawsuit issues. I'm starting to see a fucking pattern here now.
Thrown out by the court in 2012 to 2013.
For example, there's a show called Tsubasa Reservoir Chronicles, and I'm one of the leads, and my name does not appear on the box, but Vic Mignogna's name does.
Funimation was always good at hiding its controversies, mainly due to the fact that during the beginning of dubbing, there were only 10 of the same voice actors. On top of that, these were fans of anime doing the voiceover work. However, many voice actors would come out against Funimation's working environment. During the 90s, Ben Daskin would point out during the beginning of the dubbing session recordings, there were no vocal protections, meaning if they blew out their vocal cords doing certain things like screaming, grunting, and other sound effects, that would be the end of their career. There were also no time limits on when to record. While on the Dragon Ball dubbing end, there were many recordings of homophobic and sexist dialogue by actors Son Schemmel and Chris Sabat, pushed under the rug until exposed by Nick Rakita.
Alright, but like that shit was funny though.
Involved with anime as they would consider it a niche and not a big factor in the industry, considering the fact that anime itself was a growing billion-dollar industry being recorded by Hollywood at that time. Contracts and union regulations did not come into play.
Goku saying homophobic slurs is just hilarious to me. I'm sorry.
People in the industry, they feel like it's necessary to try to undermine me. They make fun of me at panels and conventions.
Vic Mignogna was well known in the Funimation Entertainment Company with franchises ranging from Dragon Ball to Sonic the Hedgehog. He was also in the Star Trek.
Yeah, I remember this Vic Mignogna shit, bro. He was a freaky ass nigga.
In the wake of the Me Too era. During January 2019, during the release of Dragon Ball Super,
yeah, this shit happened a while ago.
Many allegations ranging from SA, groping, and inappropriate behaviors have been made against the voice actor. Two more voice actors, Monica Ryle and Jamie Markai, would come to Twitter to speak out against Vic. Sony Pictures would then open an internal investigation on the accusations. A week later, he was fired from Funimation. Anime conventions would then blacklist him.
Funimation dead as hell anyway.
Would then fire him as well. The release of
Rooster Teeth dead as hell anyway.
Blu-ray.
Funny that both of them places that fired him are both dead as hell. That is hilarious, yeah.
At the time grossed $6 million, would delete Vic's interview portion. This would divide the anime community in two, while in return call for more evidence to be produced. Fans would crowdfund $200,000 plus to his legal expenses during the weeks to follow, while Vic would aim to take Funimation and his accusers to court for defamation. Funimation would file an anti-SLAPP to cancel out the lawsuits in July of 2019. Several affidavits were sent to Funimation investigation from Kara Edwards, Margie Ijima, and Michelle Specht. By September, Vic had several claims dismissed. He would, however, still pay out legal fees. Years later, would aim to file lawsuits with the Supreme Court of Texas, only to have those dismissed in 2022. To this day, after the Me Too era, there would be a division whether or not Vic Mignogna is actually guilty of the allegations.
And then they got brought out by Crunchyroll.
If your head hasn't exploded yet from all this information, well, get ready for Crunchyroll. In order to understand that, we have to go all the way back.
I remember that happening.
Funimation and Toei Animation would partner to be able to play Toei Animation IPs on Funimation. Nico Nico would then partner with Funimation to create Funico and acquire more IPs to do both home and streaming distribution. Funimation then announced their streaming app on April 16th of 2012. Just keep a bookmark here. By 2015,
yo, the Funimation app was so dog shit, yo. I tried to use that shit so many times to watch anime.
All Funimation
that shit was so ass.
In October.
Shit was
2015.
terrible.
Fast forward to 2016, Funimation streaming platform will rebrand to Funimation Now and be released internationally. By October, Funimation and Crunchyroll would partner together, and both companies would stream select titles on both streaming platforms. Now, this is where it gets dicey because this is how it shut down. By May of 2017, Sony Pictures and Universal Studios wanted to buy Funimation, and Sony acquired the company for $143 million, while Universal dropped out of the bid. This was approved by the U.S. Department of Justice by August of 2017. By then, Funimation would have
only 100 mil
Max and Kid stations, which Funimation's disbanded. In 2018, Factory Shout and Funimation would partner in the home video distribution department on certain IPs.
Wait, all right, bro, you gotta slow down, dog. I ain't gonna lie to you, my nigga. They done had like 10 different partnerships and buyouts and shit. Like, bro, this nigga's naming mad different companies that Funimation was in bed with. Jesus Christ, no wonder they dead now. They was some fucking whores out here. They was just working with anybody. Jesus Christ. Motherfuckers was ran through.
Universal dropped out of the bid. This was approved by the U.S. Department of Justice by August of 2017. By then, Funimation would have access to Animax and Kid stations, which Funimation's disbanded. In 2018, Factory Shout and Funimation would partner in the home video distribution department on certain IPs and franchises. By August of 2018, AT&T would buy out Otter Media.
Another buyout.
Crunchyroll. This makes Funimation and Crunchyroll disband partnerships, as Sony Pictures would still have ownership of Funimation. International expansion was also a problem, considering certain streams of IPs on both platforms. As a result, many IPs were dropped from both streaming platforms. Funimation would additionally be dropped from VRV, and High Dive would be the replacement. Fast forward to 2019, Funimation would partner with Chinese company Bilibili, while also acquiring Manga Entertainment's UK division. Months later would acquire Right Stuff Inc., as well as Nozomi Entertainment franchises being streamed on Funimation Now. By September, Sony and Aniplex would consolidate all of their titles as Funimation Global LLC. Colin Decker would
I like some of Aniplex shit,
which wouldn't work out too well in the future. Aniplex of America and Funimation released Rascal Does Not Dream of a Dreaming Girl in theaters on October 2nd in the US, 2 days later in Canada. Fast forward to 2020 would be the massive mergers Funimation would take. By January 2020, Funimation would partner with Anime Lab and release their IPs under Funimation Now. In May, Kodansha Comics would also partner with Funimation as well as NIS America. By September, Viz Media would partner with Funimation and release its titles on Funimation Now, such as Naruto and Hunter x Hunter. In November, Sunrise would partner with Funimation to release various Gundam franchises. By the end of the year, Sony would acquire Crunchyroll for $1.175 billion and put everything under Funimation. In 2021, Manga Entertainment would rebrand as Funimation UK, and Sony would aim to make a unified animation company under Funimation to distribute in different countries.
This is
later,
so many
Gonzo
different.
and Funimation would get into partnerships and release the Ragnarok.
Bro, this shit is. Oh, bro, wait. So, what about
partner with Funimation to release various Gundam franchises. By the end of the year, Sony would acquire Crunchyroll for $1.175
Sony brought
billion
Crunchyroll
and put everything under Funimation. In 2021, Manga Entertainment would rebrand as Funimation.
I remember
UK,
Manga
and
Entertainment.
Sony would aim to make a unified animation company under Funimation to distribute in different countries. Months later, Gonzo and Funimation would get into partnerships and release
Another
the
partnership.
Ragnarok, Burst Angel, and Witchblade series on their main YouTube channels. By 2022,
I love
Crunchyroll would
Witchblade.
release in conjunction with Funimation Films Jujutsu Kaisen 0, which would be the only Crunchyroll movie to go to theaters. By 2024,
Yeah, it is a
Funimation
lot of
shut down.
partnerships.
Now,
Like,
due to the various
all of
mergers,
them just be
all
moving too
subscriber
fast for me.
accounts
Like,
would
I'm
be
trying to
moved
keep
on
track of all
Crunchyroll.
these fucking partnerships
Subscribers
and
would also
buyouts.
be at arms with the rise in subscription price. With
But this is
Crunchyroll
why they
President
fucking
Raul
dead
Farid
today.
would
Because
aim
this
to
is
work
that's
on making
bad.
prices
That's bad for
affordable.
business, yo.
Which is why you watch anime for free. Funimation
That is
independent,
terrible
which
for
made
business.
Too many mergers, bought out by its
Wait,
own
it's too
competition,
much.
and
Y'all
refused
doing too
to be
much.
Moved on to its partner company.
Y'all was doing too much moving around, dog. That's too. Y'all was doing way too much, yo.
While having
I see why they
backed
did
with
the shit
various
now.
dubbing companies, it was only a matter of time before Funimation saw its fate. Anime fans from around the world have lost faith and Funimation, not only because of the scandals and constant merging, albeit companies like Aniplex and Viz Media have been ramping up major anime titles and making Funimation non-existent. With various ways to watch anime for free and have choice between sub and dub, having the Funimation app seems pointless to many people in trying times of paying for streaming services. While content-wise, outside of Dragon
When I
Ball
first started
and
the
One
voice
Piece,
acting shit,
Funimation
like I
has
kind
a
of
lot
wanted to
manga
do
anime shows
some
and
stuff
only saw
for
26
Funimation.
episodes and ended there. Now, for
But
those
shit,
of you who do like
niggas
Beck
don't exist no
Mongolian
more now.
Chop Squad, unfortunately, the main author, Harold Sakuishi, he's not gonna do Beck Mongolian Chop Squad again. Although he's been out of the game for years, there's other problems with Beck Mongolian Chop Squad itself. The budget that it has, okay? You have to understand that the branding, the music licenses, even covers cost money, okay? And that will be blown in an instant on 26 more episodes of Beck Mongolian Chop Squad. Now, I would like to see it, but I know in this lifetime we're never going to. The closest thing we're going to get is a live-action Beck Mongolian Chop Squad, which did happen in 2011. It was pretty good, I have to say.
Yeah.
I don't think Greg Aries will even do Beck Mongolian Chop Squad again.
Rest in
Funimation
peace,
has a great
Funimation,
catalog of
I guess.
IPs to date. In retrospect, it would be a problem now with which.
I mean, they had some good shit. They had a good run. Not gonna lie.
Today, Funimation still
fuck
bans
with
on
Funimation,
the
but
longer running animes, while shows like Attack on Titan ended.
L business. I gotta say it. Them niggas, whoever was running the business, bro, them niggas was doing a terrible job. L business. L fucking